Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PRL Season 8, round number 5 for Tier 2. We're at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. We've had some pretty hectic Tier 1 and Prem races, so looking like a pretty full lobby for Tier 2, which is a nice change. It has been relatively low on drivers for the past couple of races, but glad to see 16 guys in here. I am finally joined by someone else. I'm not alone. Welcome our boy Jesper. I'm sure you all know him already. Yeah, it's nice. Hopefully maybe it'll become a regular thing. You never know. Alright, so we got a lot of guys coming out early. Timgra is out early. I think Kev King is right behind him. Nope, that's Sin. Alright. So, before everyone starts their outlaps, I do like to look at the session, or the standings. Tag Delta tells me 20% chance of rain for the sprint. Thank you, thank you. That'll maybe make some things a little interesting. So, Tier 2 standings were nice and updated by Femi. So, let's take a look-see. So, our man in the Alpine, Heinz, is our current championship leader. He's had some pretty good results apart from his race at Austria. He's been on the podium 3 out of the 4 races, got a win and 2 P2s. Next, we're followed by Timgra in the AlphaTauri. He's in P2 in the standings. Had a DNF in Azerbaijan, but won last week at Saudi Arabia. Got a podium in Austria, and Great Britain, he finished P5. Kev King in the Alfa Romeo was your championship leader. He won the first 2 races, but unfortunately he did not race in Azerbaijan, so he did not get any points for that race and only finished P4 in Saudi Arabia. So the top 3, Heinz is up 20 points, and Timgra and Kev King are tied for P3. So a pretty close title race. Yeah, I'm sure those 3 have kind of been the stars of the field basically since the start of the season. So I'm curious how they do. Of course, another tricky track. Jeddah wasn't necessarily an easy track either, so I'm curious how the Tier 2 guys handle it. I am on board currently with Timgra. He is the first man to set a flying lap. Did not see his sector one time, but it doesn't really matter because he hasn't set a lap, so we can't really make any comparisons. But obviously Timgra is going to want to build off his success from last week. I'm sure Kev King is going to want to have that little bit of more pace. Timgra and Heinz seem to be just a little bit quicker than Kev King last week. So I'm sure Kev King put in a lot of practice for today, and he's going to be wanting to take it to his 2 championship rivals. Timgra going through this tricky, slow left-hander that I've seen so many people lose the car there. Flying right-hander, you can take it nice and tight, gain almost a 10th. Through the penultimate corner he goes. Take it as wide as you can. Take this corner as tight as you can. DRS activated. This is a 135.7 for the AlphaTauri driver, followed by Sin. He's going to set a 135.9. And it looks like we got Grayson. He's going to be the next car across. Although he may have backed out this lap. His ERS is actually... Yeah, his ERS is low, so he's probably setting his lap now. And then we've got Kev King. He's going to cross the line next. A 135.3. 6/10 off his championship rival. Then we have Dookie Hosler with a 135.8. We have a provisional pole from Reflex Matty. We know how fast he is. He's kind of had some unlucky races the past 2. He got kicked out of the race last week. I think he had a DNF in Azerbaijan. Oh, almost contact there with the Alpine of Heinz. Don't think Matty saw him. But yeah, the first laps are set. Dutch and under, I assume, are going to be quicker laps from everyone. But yeah, I mean, pole for our quali was we had a wet quali, so we can't really, we can't compare the times to ours, which is unfortunate. But I'd I'd assume our pole would have been maybe like a high or a low 133? Probably in like the 133.8s. I mean, maybe if we had a crazy lap, I'm sure one of us could have got into the 132s. But unfortunately, we had a wet quali, so no chance to compare, which is what I usually like to do. But let's find someone on board. We'll go on board with Grayson. He didn't have a great first lap. Looking a lot better now, though. Looks like this is going to be a 138, 138.6 for Grayson. Sure, he'll want to improve on that time. Looks like we have... Oh, and Dookie Hoser pulled a me, missed the pit entry lane, and almost flew back on track. Oh, and he drove into the front of the Ferrari there. I think that was Matty. That may get a report, because I know you're not really supposed to, like, miss the pit lane and then attempt to, like, drive back into it. Oh, and a great lap by Monkey Phil. Completely missed. Yeah, I forgot to. I completely missed that lap. Noob plays as well. 135.2. Looks like the grid is tightening up a little bit on pace. It may not look like an easy Timgra, Kev King, Hines podium. Looks like Hines didn't get to actually set a lap. He came back into the pits. Gotcha. Well, looks like everyone is in the pits currently, apart from Noob, who is on another lap here? No. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. Let's watch him. I do believe Deliberate is a reserve, but he did race in the Red Bull last week, so maybe he's going to be grabbing that second Red Bull seat. I know Dutch is the other Red Bull driver. I'm not sure if they have another one. I haven't seen the other Red Bull driver, I feel, in a little bit, so maybe Deliberate is eyeing that full-time seat. He was pretty quick last week. I think he was P5, so he's definitely got the pace for it. We're going to stay on board with him as he comes to the back straightaway. He's, doesn't look like he's going to get... He might get some slipstream, actually, from Tack. Yep, maybe. Tack's going to pull over. Doesn't want to give his rival any extra pace than what he already had. It looks like, I forgot, Canuck is away. Because I do believe Sparkplug is the reserve driver for the Williams. He was reserved last week. Camo Banana just starting his lap. We'll go on board with him after we finish our lap with Deliberate. I just realized I forgot to say hi to everyone in chat. Oopsies. Wasn't paying attention. Deliberate through the penultimate corner. Took it a little too slowly there. He probably could have had a little bit more throttle through there. He's going to finish with 136, 136.3. That puts him at P10. Looks like Hines has left the session. Probably disconnected. Hopefully we can get him back in. There's Ferrari just parked on the inside there. That was kind of funny. It looks like Matty was getting out of the way. And it looks... Yeah, exactly. It's tricky. You get used to it when you commentate a lot, but it's still hard to catch people. I know Camo was on a lap. Oh, we invalidated. Never mind. So he's probably gonna... Oh, yeah. He missed last week. He's been a pretty solid staple of Tier 2. He's been a good teammate to Canuck, so hoping some good luck to the Williams guys. They haven't been able to really show how fast they are, as they've missed a bunch of races, but let's see what Tag Delta has in store for us. He hasn't set a lap, so we won't be able to make a comparison with him. Yeah. Exactly. Still plenty of time in quali left, so you can just sell it, set a banker lap, and then you can build off that easy. Yeah, that's like, all right, I want to make myself feel really good about my next lap. Tag Delta entering the final corner. Looks like it's gonna be a 137. No, low 138. Oh, and we had a little bit. Yeah, we have a crash. Spark plug coming out of the final corner, lost the car and into the wall. His qualifying is finished, and that's gonna be rough. But he's gonna be able to make some comeback in the sprint if he's got more pace than what we've seen from the qualifying times. Unfortunate for the Williams guys. As I was singing their praises, I'd say that's a commentator's curse. Oh my god! Imagine if we had the sim damage where like the wing could like cause a puncture. That would be wild. I'm yeah, I'm on board with Noob right now. He just started his second flying lap. We have 6 minutes. Oh, big snap starting the final straight there. That's gonna lose Noob a bunch of time. That we have 6 minutes left in qualifying, so everyone starting or ending their lap here should have an easy another flying lap that they'll be able to set. Just ahead of Noob. We'll go on board with Grayson because we can swap back to Noob. Still might be a slower lap than Grayson wants, but it's going to be a lot faster than his original time. A 137? 137.1. 1 second and 4/10 improvement. Noob abandons his lap, comes into the pit lane. We'll go on board with Monkey. Monkey's down 2/10 according to the timing sheet. Is he going to back out, or is the timing sheet lying to us? Timing sheet might be lying to us. Let's see what kind of lap he puts in coming out of the last corner. 134.9, only 500ths improvement though. Definitely wanted a little bit more. And Jimmy Pull-Up in the Mercedes jumps him, goes 134.8. And that is a podium position for him as of now. It doesn't. Ooh, so we'll keep it on him. Tafer just ended his lap. Looked like almost a second improvement, but it only puts him P11. I'm sure he's going to want to try and get a little bit closer to his teammate Timgra. Do we have any? I think Grayson had his lap, Tafer had his lap, Monkey and Jimmy had their lap. So it looks like we can take it a little bit easier while Kev King, Dookie Hoser, and Deliberate are all on their final outlaps. I do want to look. Is there a qualifying record? There is not. Unfortunate. So Monkey Phil's coming in. Jimmy's coming in. So Deliberate will be the car to first start their final lap. While we wait for him to start his lap, the constructor standings are very close. Corky and Hines carry the Alpine team to P1 in the constructors with 198 points, followed by AlphaTauri with Timgra and Tafer only 4 points back. And then the Alfa Romeos of Kev King and Sin are at 171 points. And then the Williams team of Northern Canuck and Tag Delta 36 points down from P1. So a very close battle in the constructors as well. And as we say that, Deliberate going through the first uphill left-hander. He is starting his final qualifying lap. Coming to the Sector 2 line, how much is he going to be up? Up 5/10, and he loses the car and invalidates. Unfortunate, but he still has time to save up that ERS and go for another run. Tires are not going to be anywhere near dead. Looks like Hines was able to get into the session again, so that's nice. He'll be able to set only one lap, though, so it's going to have to be a really good one. Yeah, I'm sure Hines is going to set a good lap for us. On board with Noob Plays again. The McLarens are both on outlaps. Hines just started his lap as well. Timgra on an outlap. Timgra is going to be cutting it close. Looks like a little bit of a traffic jam for Kev King there. Both McLarens on the final back straight, getting their tires warmed up. We'll stay on board with Kev King as he's the furthest car up the road. Up almost 8/10 for Kev King. That's going to put him P1 if he keeps that time up. Keeps the throttle really strong through that left-hander, through the flying right. Keep the car tight. You'll gain more time than following the racing line. He does. Through the penultimate left-hander. Keeps the car straight through the final corner. This is going to be a very good lap for Kev King. A 1:45.34.5. That is provisional pole for the Alfa Romeo. That's more of the times that we are accustomed to from the Alfa Romeo driver. And here come Noob Plays. He's down on his time according to the timing sheets. Is that going to be accurate? It is 7/10 down. Noob Plays will not improve. Jimmy Pullup just starting his lap. Timgra just starting his lap behind him. And then our championship leader, Hines, finishing his lap through the penultimate corner. This looks like a strong lap. Through the final corner, he's going to set a 1:34. A 1:34.6. Hines, his only lap, only 300ths behind Kev King. And Reflex Maddie with a 1:34.57 beats Kev King by 100th. Does anyone else have an answer? Does Timgra have an answer? Does Jimmy Pullup have an answer? Does Kev King? Kev King's done. He's not going to be improving. According to the timing sheets, Timgra is down 500ths. He may have had a little bit of a moment through the S's. Deliberate, about to finish his lap. He's down 3 seconds, though, so it doesn't look like he was able to improve. 2.5 tenths. That will jump Timgra and Hines if he keeps that time up, and I'm sure he's going to gain more time here. But unfortunately, it looks like he has a McLaren who is on a flying lap as well. If he's a little bit faster, he might have to slow down a little bit, or it will give him a nice little slipstream and give him a little bit more time through the final corners for... Oh, and the McLaren loses the car a little bit. And a 1:34.7 for Jimmy jumps Timgra, but cannot jump Hines or Kev King. I'm not sure if either of the McLarens maybe hindered him. I don't think they did. Noob comes into the pits, and that is Tier 2 qualifying over. Looking at the spread, going from P1 all the way to P6, only separated by 4/10ths. And then the top 10 only separated by around a second and 4/10ths. So lots of very good close pace here. So it's going to be very interesting to see where these guys all even out in the race. Great qualifying from Tier 2 as usual. They're always very clean and quick through qualifying. Never see any incidents in qualifying, at least, which is nice to see. And once again, we will look at the final qualifying order. Here is the difference between Reflex Matty and Kev King. 9 thousandths of a second, followed by Hines only 300ths down, and then Jimmy Pullup only a 10th down, followed by Timgra only 2/10ths down, and Monkey Phil 3/10ths down. So those top six, we're gonna keep a good eye on them, but don't count out Noob in the Ferrari, only 6/10ths down, but he did invalidate his last lap, so he might have a little bit more in the tank than what the timing sheets is telling us. Rounding out the top 10, we have Sin in the Alfa Romeo, Dookie Hoser in the Haas, and Dutch taking that P10 spot in qualifying. Good stuff. So, any predictions, Mr. Jesper? I think it's Hines. I haven't been corrected on it in 5 races, so I assume it's correct. Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, I don't know. But I think I'll have some predictions for the sprint and the race. For the sprint, I think Kev King is going to jump Reflex Matty, but I think they're going to stay P1 and P2. I think Hines is going to get P3, and I think Timgra is going to jump Jimmy for P4. And then for the race, my podium is going to be Kev King, Hines, Matty, but you could probably swap Matty and Timgra as well. Yes, sir. We wait for the drivers to pick their strats. Oh, already done. And the formation lap for the sprint is underway. Yeah, a lot of medium runners when the soft, I'd say, is probably the best tire to run. I mean, from our sprint, it looked like it was. The soft just didn't die fast enough for the mediums to really take effect, but maybe the drivers want to save an extra pair of softs. Who knows? I will keep the telemetry off for now. But as we go through everyone's tires, Reflex Matty and Kev King will both be starting on the mediums. Hines, the highest soft starter, followed by Jimmy Pullup in the Mercedes, and then Timgra and Monkey Phil behind him, both starting on the softs. And then everyone else, all the way down to Sparkplug, will be on the mediums. Sparkplug on the softs, Camo Banana on the mediums. So, I mean, from the experience we've had, I think Hines may be in a position to jump Kev King and Matty if he can make those soft tires work for him. It's going to be a tough go for Jimmy. He's going to be under pressure from Timgra and Monkey Phil on the faster tire. And then I think everyone from P7 to P16 could change at any moment. One player or one driver can have a mistake. One driver can lose it. One driver can have a dive bomb. One driver can lose it in the S's. It's at this point we have no idea what's going to happen, but it's a 7-lap shootout to gain those extra points, and Matty is definitely looking for better results than what he's had in the past couple of weeks. He's a very quick driver, and if he wants to start catching the other championship contenders of Kev King, Hines, Timgra, he's going to have a very good race tonight, which I'm sure he's aiming for. Kev King definitely going to want to try and retake that championship position away from Hines. And of course, Timgra is going to want to build on his win from last week. We will see how it goes. The drivers begin to line up on their grid spots, and we will be underway very shortly. Reflex Matty lines up well, so does Kev King. Hines, Jimmy, Timgra misses his box. That's going to put him a little bit further back than Monkey. Noob P7, Sin B8. Hoser P10 or P9, Dutch P10, Deliberate P11, and we. Oh my god, the timing screen was geeking there. We're on board with Reflex Matty. 5 lights, and they're out. The Ferrari is away. Has a very good start. Kev King didn't look like he had a great start, but he keeps the Mercedes behind him. Oh, and Sin! Oh, no! Yes. Sin. That is a full course safety car. Sin completely missed his braking point and just took out the Ferrari of Reflex Matty. A terrible... Yeah, it's terrible for Matty, but there is a safety car, so he will have the opportunity to put on softs and finish the race on those, but it's Reflex Matty's chances from winning the sprint are now almost in the bin. Same for Hines. Hines lost a lot of positions on that incident. It looks like I think he got caught up behind the back of Matty, and he just kind of had to follow Matty as Matty got taken out by Sin. But yeah, you're gonna be the one that gets taken out. And I mean, at the end of the day, Kev King is the one that gets the big jump from here. He goes from P2 to P1. He holds off Noob, who I think Noob started P7, no? Great start for Noob. Just took advantage of the chaos around him. Jimmy and Timgra all move up 1 position. Same for Monkey Phil. Deliberate up 5 positions. Grayson and Tack up 4 as well. Sparkplug and Camo up 3 as well. Camo said he's glad he started at the back. Yep. Start at the back. You can just witness the chaos in front of you and just gain positions where everyone lost them. Yeah. It's unfortunate for Matty, but he is going to have an opportunity to make up a bunch of positions. He is a very quick driver. He's going to be on the faster tire. He puts on mediums, though. Very surprised about that. Guess he does not want to use any softs for the sprint. He puts on the mediums. He's going to have a fresh wing. He's still going to be faster than basically everyone up until P5, where he'll have some trouble making overtakes, but he's still going to have to get past almost 10 cars to even reach P5, so it's going to be a challenge for Matty, and of course, with only basically 5 laps left to go in the sprint, position is very key, and Kev King is in the position where you want to be, but I do believe that Noob and Jimmy all on mediums, so unfortunately the soft runners haven't really been able to make up ground, but this is the chance for Timger and Monkey to make up more positions. Everyone in front of them is on the slower tire. That soft tire is going to be the better tire until around lap 5 or 6, where they start to equal out. So I'm curious to see if Timger and Monkey will be able to use their pace and get by. Maybe Jimmy, maybe Noob, maybe even Kev King, if Kev King isn't able to have the pace that he thinks he needs. It's going to be very close. The safety car may be in this lap. All the cars are lined up, but I do believe the safety car needs to do at least 1 lap. So I think we'll be going racing next lap. Yeah. So 1 less lap for everyone to make up positions. Most importantly for Matty, he's going to have 1 less lap to try and make up positions. But yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be a very big penalty for Sin. He just completely missed the corner, cut the corner, took out the leader, and was going so fast that he dragged the leader to the wall that is next to turn 1, which is a good like 50 feet away from the corner. We'll get a good view of it as we go past turn 1. But you can see the wide gap between the track and the wall, and Matty was basically dragged all the way there. So I assume Matty's going to have something to say about that at the end of the race, but he'll still has a long race ahead of them. The sprint does decide where he starts. So the more position that he makes up, the better chance he has to make up points in the feature race. Unfortunately for Matty as well, he's going to have the faster tire, but almost everyone is on basically the same tire. I really do think that he should have went onto the soft tires. At this point, you're not really racing to make up positions for points in the sprint. You're making up positions so you don't have to do it in the feature race where all the points are. So I think sacrificing a pair of softs would have been the way to go, but once again, it is Matty's decision. He thinks you can make up probably the same amount of time on the mediums. So we'll see how that goes for the Ferrari driver. But it's been kind of it's been an opposite trend for the Ferrari drivers in the sprint. Matty has basically been dropped to the back of the field, but Noob managed to take advantage of his teammate's unfortune, and he is in P2. Safety car in this lap. We will be going racing at the start of lap 4. Will give us 4 racing laps to see if anyone can make up positions. We will get rid of this detail. We will drop the spectator menu. We will drop the menu and the HUD. We will stay on board with our leader Kev King. We will see where he starts his end of safety car sprint to the line. Is he going to start it before the final lap or the final corner? Is he going to start it after it? We will have to wait and see. He has not been warming up his tires. Here he goes through the final corner. He is starting. Noob has a little bit of a snap. That's going to give Kev King a lot of time. Timgra making a move on Jimmy pull-up. Those soft tires giving him an advantage out of the final corner. He slows down, though. Really didn't want to make a dive bomb into turn 1, but he almost looked like he had the position before it. Already an improvement for Matty. He's going to want to, I think he's going to want to try and get to at least P10. I mean, he might get P10 right here. Slow cars ahead. Camo, Sparkplug, and Grayson all racing here. Matty's going to have to slow up. Great move on the outside right around Camo. Looked like Camo was almost stationary. We'll stay on board with Reflex Matty as he tries to make up more positions after the incident on turn 1. Noob. He used... Oh my god, doesn't even... Yeah, he used all of his... 50% of his ERS to get by Kev King on the first lap after safety car. But unfortunately for Noob, because he's used so much ERS, there is going to be DRS on lap, I believe, 6. So Kev King and Jimmy's used 50% of his ERS. Timgro down to 70, Monkey down to 75. So I think Kev King is playing the long game here. He does not need to really make an overtake here. He can wait a couple of laps. He's got all of his ERS. He does look quicker than Noob. And as I say that, Jimmy, side by side with Kev King, oh my god, 3 wide into turn 1. They all take it nice and clean, no contact. Great driving there. I thought that that could have ended really badly for any one of those drivers. And Monkey Phil, yeah, has passed Timgra on those soft tires, and it does look like Deliberate is pressuring Timgra on the medium tires. We go back to Noob as he heads to the back straight of Coda. Kev King almost out of DRS, though. He's going to want to use some ERS here to stay at least within 8 tenths, 7 tenths. He doesn't have to use a lot of it. And Jimmy Pull-Up, I think, forgot to turn off his ERS. He's at 3% now. Here comes Monkey Phil right behind him. He's not going to make a move into that corner, but DRS should be active once we start the next lap. And Noob is almost a sitting duck here. They are almost equal on ERS, though, now. Noob has been able to save it. He goes a little deep there. Oh, and Kev King was thinking of a move, but he decided to back out. He's got the extra pace. I think he's just got to be a little bit patient here. As much as I know it's hard. Yeah, it just looks like Noob isn't able to make the corners as well as Kev King. DRS is active. Hines sets the fastest lap. Unfortunately for Hines, he's started the safety car P7, hasn't been able to make up any positions. Reflex Matty up to P11, has Dutch and Tac Delta ahead of him. Maybe possible position gains there. Oh, as they look like they have a little bit of a moment. Matty side by side. Dutch decides to back out. Timgra, 3-second time penalty for track limits. That's going to hurt him. That's going to drop him down to P8. Dookie Hoser does have a time penalty as well. Timgra under pressure from Deliberate, but Deliberate has no ERS. Hines is going to have a better run out of the final corner. He's going to have much more ERS. Timgra not having a great start. He's down to P7 now, but he should be able to get passed by Deliberate. Deliberate has 0 ERS. Kev King and Noob almost make contact. Kev King does get by. Both are almost equal on ERS. Jimmy down to 10%. As we head to the end of lap number 6, starting the final lap as we cross the line next time by. Oh, and we do have a yellow flag behind, and it's Reflex Matty. It looks like he may have had an incident with Sparkplug, who lost a front end plate. And Reflex Matty, all of his effort down the drain. He is now back to P15. And a great comeback drive for Hines as we currently stand. He's back up to P4. Potential position gains up ahead if they have some moments. Jimmy is still under 10% ERS. Kev King looking like he's able to keep Noob at around a 7/10 gap. He's going to use all of his ERS once we head to the back straight. He takes that corner a lot slower than Noob. Noob's got a good run, 5/10 down. Jimmy's just not going to have any ERS to be able to make a move here. I think if there's going to be a move made here... Oh, both of them have snaps there. And that is going to cost Noob any sort of chance to make a move. He's just too far back from Kev King. Yeah, it just... He has, and Kev King's... Oh, Tac Delta has a moment. And this field from P9 to P15, all battling. Tafer, no ERS. Camo looking to make a move, doesn't happen. Oh, and Camo looks to try and make a move at the end. We go back to the front of the field. Kev King entering the penultimate corner. There is a yellow flag. It looked like the Haas of Dookie may have had a little bit of a moment through the final corner. Here comes Kev King. That is sprint win for Kev King. P2 for Noob, P3 for Jimmy, P4 for Hines, and P5 for Monkey, followed by Timgra in P6, but will drop to P7 due to him having a 3-second time penalty. That is P6 for Deliberate. Dookie Hoser comes home P8. Tafer will take the flag, P9. Sparkplug will jump a position on Camo due to his time penalty. Tac Delta comes home P13, Dutch P14, and unfortunately for Reflex Matty, a disastrous sprint for the Ferrari driver. It looked like he may have been the man to win the race, but due to 2 incidents, the first one we did catch, the second one we did not, he will be starting the feature race in P15. That was a very eventful sprint compared to ours. Oh yeah. And here is your final results, taking away any potential incidents that we may have missed. Kev King, winner of the sprint, followed by Noob in P2, Jimmy P3, Hines P4, and P5 going to Monkey Phil. Deliberate takes home P6 ahead of Timgra due to his penalty, followed by Dookie Hoser P8, Tafer P9, Grayson P10. Rounding out the bottom of the grid, we have Sparkplug in P11, Camo P12, Tac Delta P13, Dutch in P14, and we can't see it there, I'll have to scroll down, but Reflex Matty will start the feature race P15, and Sin will be starting the race P16. And that is your official sprint results, unless there are any incidents that will be reported. I'm sure there will be. We definitely saw one. Yeah, I mean, I think we saw a couple just in the sprint there, so I'm sure that there may be some reports. It does look like a nice sunny day at COTA for the race, so it doesn't look like we're going to have any rain. While the drivers get their stuff set up, I'm going to have a little bit of my cookie here. From the strategies that I've seen, at least in our race, I really think that medium soft is the best way to go. Yeah. I mean, taking away if we don't have any safety cars, I think starting on the slower medium and then going to the faster soft at the end may be just the overall, like, fastest strategy. But if there is a safety car early, it definitely hurts you the most. Yep, we will throw that detail up. I will be right back. Just had a phone call. Alright, I am back. Looks like we're under VSC. Ooh. Yeah, he's gonna have to... Nope, and we'll be ending VSC very soon. And it does look like a very strong start for Maddie. He's already up to P10 from P15. He has started on the softs. Same for Deliberate, Hines, Jimmy, Timgro, Sparkplug. So a lot of, it seems 50-50 with everyone. Yeah. So VSC should be ending quite soon here. No. We are underway. The position changes aren't very large compared to the sprint so far. Basically everyone from P7 and up have almost stayed in the same position. Kev King does get away a lot better than Noob there. Noob was on his rear diffuser very close, and now he's under pressure from Jimmy and Hines. Bring up the tires again. Yep. Yep. Deliberate, same. Yeah, but yeah, he gets a lot of time through that tricky left-hander. But Jimmy almost, I think Jimmy's a little bit faster on those soft tires. It's a little bit of a snap. Maddie is at the back of almost like a 6-car field. So he's probably going to maybe want to try and make some overtakes before a DRS train starts. Ooh, Jimmy almost looked like he was going to make a move there. Decides to back out. Reflex Maddie does make a move on Dookie Hoser at the end of the straight. That is him up to P9 with still 70% ERS. So lots of ground still for Maddie to make up, but it is a good start for the Ferrari driver. Kev King almost a second up on Noob. Penultimate corner. Definitely didn't take that as quickly as he could have. Kev King does seem to make up a lot of time through this corner. Oh, a little bit of a snap. Kev King does set the fastest lap, followed by Deliberate. So it does seem from P10 all the way to P1 is at a bit basically in the same group. And then from P11 all the way to P15 or P14, they're in their own little battle, and then Tafer and Grayson look to have had to make some pit stops. As we go on board with Kev King. Yeah, looks like they're both on the hards, so they're gonna go the rest of the way. And Sparkplug, a very big 3-second time penalty for him. That hurts for how close he is to the rest of the field. And Reflex Maddie does get by the Williams with DRS. He is Jimmy almost making a move too. Kev King leaves the space, but he stays P2. Hines slightly further back. The soft drivers are putting some pressure on the medium runners, but Noob was able to get by Kev King with the DRS help, and Noob does have more ERS than Kev King. It's very important to watch that as they come through the flying right. Yeah, Timgra's definitely going to want to make up a little bit more time. His championship rivals are a little bit up the road, so he's going to want to try and get by Deliberate and maybe catch up to the rest of the field. Oh, loses it a little bit there. Jimmy all over him now. Ooh, good camera angle here. It may be a story of DRS passes here if they all stay this close, because at one point Kev King doesn't really want to use all of his ERS just to keep Matty behind. Matty sends it a little bit, may have had a little bit of contact, has a really bad exit, and here comes Noob. They're going to be side by side. They're both using all of their overtake, but Noob does have way more, and here comes Hines. Jimmy looking like he's lagging a little bit. Oh, a really bad run for Noob. Goes really deep, side by side. Little bit of a moment, and Monkey Phil is now in the mix. Timgra and Deliberate not farther behind either. And all of this battling has set Kev King away. He's 2 seconds up the road now. Absolutely. He wants everyone behind him to be battling, and he can just have free air. We'll stay on board with Jimmy. He's going to have DRS. He doesn't have ERS. Ooh, it looked like Noob almost made a reactionary defensive move there. That could have been really bad. Has a little bit of a moment. No. And Hines is right behind him as well, another soft runner. He just has that little bit of extra grip over the medium still. He has 94% ERS. Noob down to 68. Jimmy has a 0% ERS. Oh, and Monkey Phil is out. I guess I didn't see it, but I guess Monkey Phil just lost the car coming out of that left-hander. And that is Monkey Phil out. He was having a fantastic run. Unfortunate for the Aston driver. As we jump back to P2, Jimmy has lost the position to Hines, and Noob got past him again. And now Hines is pressuring Noob, and now Kev King 3 seconds up the road again. Oh, a big moment for Jimmy. Saves the car, but that's going to put him behind Timgra now. And Matty, the Ferrari driver, is P6. He's chasing down the leaders. We may have a potential comeback from the Ferrari driver. This would be something to see if he can maybe catch the leaders. Oh, a little bit of a moment, speaking of, but he still has DRS. He's going to gain a lot of time on Jimmy. Don't count out Deliberate, Dookie, or Sparkplug. They're all really close. I mean, this is basically an 8-car battle for P2 because, I mean, Kev King is so far up the road now. And Hines did get past Noob. So now Hines is chasing down his championship rival, while Noob is now out of DRS already. A 3-second time penalty for Deliberate. Is that his second? It is not. Deliberate, those 3 seconds are going to hurt him. If a race ended this lap, he would drop from P7 to P9. And here comes Dookie making a move. Who is going to have the DRS? I think Dookie's going to have the DRS. Oh! And Deliberate slides into the side of the Haas. It doesn't look like either of them got damage. But Deliberate does not have the DRS. Dookie is away. Thankfully, no bigger incident other than Deliberate having a little bit of a snap there. Ooh, right on the diffuser. He's not giving up. Yeah, I know. Oh, and Timgra, I just caught him, loses the car a little bit, and here comes Jimmy. I usually just call those long right-handers because, I mean, just sounds better, I find, than triple right-hander or, like, double right-hander. And here comes Jimmy, has a way better run on Timgra, but he has no ERS. Jimmy's just not been able to use or keep his ERS anywhere near. And, oh, Timgra has a big slide. But he does stay ahead of the Mercedes. They go side by side. Timgra is a little bit ahead. I tell you what, I think Timbra is very close to a time penalty. I think I've seen him twice go off the track a little bit. And speaking of, here comes Reflex Matty right behind these two battling. He is not far off from a P4 position if his pace keeps up. And we do have a yellow flag in Sector 3. It does look like Tafer had a little bit of a moment. I don't think he has any damage. He does not. He's going to carry on. Camo and deliberate. Yeah, Timgra's setup does seem to be very slidey. Oh, and Reflex Matty, he was so close to the back of the AlphaTauri. It looked like he was going to hit him, but he didn't. And Matty, I think he's going to try and save some ERS because both Jimmy and Timgra are under 20%. Matty at 45%. And Dookie Hoser not far behind these three drivers. There is a potential for Matty to get these two guys on a good DRS straight where he can maybe get a good run. And I tell you what, Hines does look to be a little bit quicker than Kev King, but he is on the soft tire, and those soft tires are probably dying a little bit now. But Hines is going to have a rough time getting by Kev King without any mistakes, because Kev King is going to be on the faster tire at the end of the race. Oh, and does Matty have an... Oh, Matty comes into the pits. He puts on the hards. It's true. He used all of them in the sprint. And that's going to hurt Matty for the rest of the race, because the medium would have just been the better tire to use. But because he wasn't going to use a soft for the sprint, now he's stuck with the hard tire. That is an unfortunate circumstance for Matty. Well, he's still going to have a really strong pace, but he's just not going to be on the faster tire. He tries to make a move around Tac Delta. He does. Fantastic move. Those basically fresh hards still getting by Tac Delta on really good mediums still. 7 laps is basically when they're in their high point. Kev King has made up 5/10 on Hines now. He was at 2 seconds, down to 2.5. Does look like Noob and Jimmy and Timger have kind of fallen off the leader's pace, but they're all still in a very close battle. I am curious when the soft runners are going to come in. I think lap 9 should be the ideal time for them to pit. Doesn't look like it. On board with Jimmy. DRS was not enough. I tell you what, Jimmy's got good pace, but he does really need to learn to use the ERS, like, when it's a good time. Because, like, I think he could have made, like, 3-4 passes on Noob and people behind him earlier on the race, but he just didn't have the ERS to make it quick enough. Yeah, like, you don't really want to use the ERS as kind of a speed boost. You want to use it when you know that you're going to have a good opportunity to pass someone, and you want to use it to just make that pass potentially quicker so you don't lose as much time. Like, look, he's got DRS here, and he's got no ERS, so he's barely getting by Noob, and they're side by side into the corner. Doesn't look like there's any contact. Timgra now trying to hold off Dookie Hoser. Oh, and there is a little bit... Oh, and Noob is there. Oh! How is there no contact? I don't know how they didn't make contact through there. Somehow Jimmy gets the move done, and I think Jimmy's going to come into the pits now. He is. Make sure not to get a speeding penalty here. You can get it. No speeding penalty for Jimmy. Timgra comes in as well. So does Sparkplug. So all the soft runners seem to be coming in. Sin coming in as well. Takes that corner real slow. Make sure he doesn't fly into the wall. And I mean, Matty on the hards here. Matty's going to jump up to P6? He is. Oh, he's just going to come out ahead of Jimmy, but yeah, Jimmy puts on the hards. I'm not entirely sure why. He should have put on the mediums like the drivers behind him. Maybe, because I know I took the softer strategy. So I took, I think, 4 sets of softs, 1 set of mediums, 1 set of hards. So I'm not, obviously that matters a lot when you're deciding a strategy, but I kind of thought to just, you take the mediums in the feature race, you use the softs in the sprint, and then you use another pair of softs at the end of the race for the feature, but I guess people have had different thought processes. So looking at it, Hines did try the undercut. So everyone ahead of him is going to have to pit. He's going to jump Dookie and he's going to jump Noob. But Kev King has not pitted yet. I think he's going to take the... I think he's going to go for a little bit of an overcut. He's going to take the mediums to maybe lap 12. I highly doubt lap 13. And then his softs are going to be basically great the entire rest of the race. So he doesn't really care that he's probably losing a little bit of time to Hines here because he's going to have such a quicker tire at the end that it probably won't make a difference. Exactly. Like like when you look at Kev King's ERS, it's at 20% right now. Personally, I wouldn't use any of it right now. I would just try and save it. You're going to gain a lot of it in the pit stop. And just try and save it until you're ready to make an overtake on Hines, and then use a lot of it to try and get out of DRS right away. I think that's the best usage of ERS, is trying to gain that little bit of extra time to get people out of your DRS. And that is Deliberate's second track limits penalty. That is 6 seconds down on his finishing time. Sparkplug with another one. But it does look like most of the field has been relatively good for time penalties. It is a bit of a tricky track to get some penalties, especially the S's. If you get that wrong once, you're going to get it wrong basically the entire way. Yeah. Yeah. Does look like Dookie Hoser is making up a good amount of time on Noob here. And your leader, Kev King, is in. And Hines is just slightly ahead of him. So this is looking very good for Kev King. Don't push the softs too crazy at the start because they are going to be cold. But basically just go through the S's normally. They'll be heated up, and then Kev King is basically almost in DRS range. Dutch with a 3-second time penalty. P9 to P13 all having time penalties for track limits. Is Kev King? Kev King will have DRS, and there are... Dookie Hoser gets by Hines, or Hines gets by Dookie Hoser, and Hines having a nice slipstream from Noob. Oh, big moment for Noob. Yep, these are not lap cars. These are just slower cars on slower tires, so he's got to get by them legit. And Noob is putting a good battle, but Hines does get by. Noob goes very deep. Kev King's got to be careful here. He does. Oh, and Dookie's around. I don't think you can blame Kev King for that. He was on as far outside of the track as he could. Dookie kind of slides into him a little bit, loses the car. No harm, no foul there for Kev King. Yeah, they're definitely... Yeah. And now Kev King just has to stay focused on the man ahead of him, his championship rival. He's got 7 laps to get by. I don't think he's going to need that many. Both of them have been pretty equal on pace, but Kev King does have the better tire. Kev King is slower through the S's than a lot of the top drivers, but he makes up a lot of time through Sector 2 and 3. Here comes Kev King. Let's see how... Yep, here he goes. He's using his ERS. He wants to get by right away. All the way to the end of the track. Kev King does get by. He's going to have a tighter line, though. Does Hines try the switchback? He had it, but Kev King just... Yeah, Kev King just had the better... Oh, and Kev King looked like he went a little deep there. Yeah, that could have... Yeah, that could have been bad if he got on the throttle too early and he'd lost it. And Reflex Matty, he was having a great comeback, gets a 3-second time penalty, but considering the gaps, that is only going to put him behind Timgra. So still, if Matty can manage a P5 position, that would be a fantastic comeback for the Ferrari driver. And Kev King, fastest lap of the race, not surprising there. Fastest tire at the end of the race. Will anyone pit late to challenge it? We will see. Yes, sir, and you can see the gap. Hines is quicker through here, but those tires aren't helping him. Will we see a DRS move coming up here? They're both the exact same ERS, so Hines will have the better straight line speed. Who has the better exit? Both of them very clean. He did. Hines is going to have... Hines actually isn't using his ERS. That may be a smart move. He forces Kev King, but Kev King didn't use all of it either. He's kept it at 10%. So a little bit of mind games going on between these two. And Timgra makes the move on Reflex Matty. He gets by on track. Oh, a little bit of a comeback move by Matty there. He tried to get the position back. Little bit of bumping and banging, but I don't think anything penalty worthy there. Timgra does get by. Now Timgra is going to attempt to chase down Jimmy, who is on the slower tire. So we will see if Timgra can maybe come and snatch that final podium position. Hines just out of ER or DRS range. It didn't look like he had DRS on that final straight either. I just realized the final DRS detection point is so far back from the start straight. Yeah, that is wild. I would have thought it would have been on like right after the penultimate corner on that straight, but I guess not. Yeah. Now the big question is, at the end of the race, I think Hines' tires are going to be better. Not by a lot, but by like the tiniest margin. Because Kev King's tires will be, what, 8 laps old? Hines' will be 10. So, I mean, they're basically going to be equal at the end of the race. Yeah, so, I mean, once we get to the end of the race, it's going to be who's the faster driver. It's not... Yeah, that's where one of the cliffs are. And Kev King, yeah, Kev King will probably reach that first. Timgra with a 3-second time penalty. I need to look at these time penalties because like almost the entire grid has them now. So Jimmy to Noob all has 3 seconds. Sparkplug has 12. Deliberate has 12 as well. Sin, Dookie, Dutch, and Tac Delta all have 3, and Camo has 6. So yeah. Oh, far behind. Yeah, the marbles are really big in the game now. Last year, it didn't even feel like they meant really anything. But now, if you get in the marbles and then you try and take like a fast corner, you're going to be really slow. I won't count Hines out though, because he does seem to be quicker through the technical parts of the track. But Kev King does seem to be faster on the straights. Yeah, that would make sense, and Kev King will most likely be hitting that threshold very soon. Absolutely. And I mean, if we're looking at this as a constructor standpoint, I mean, Ferrari P5 and P6, that's going to be a very good finish for both of them, and they're both chasing down Timgra, as Tafer does have a spin in front of the leaders. Hopefully Tafer, okay, he gets out of the racing line. That's good. By Matty, he is on the quicker tire. A good decision by the Ferrari team. Noob does look like he may have the pace to be able to catch Timger here, and if he can drag his teammate around the track with DRS, it may give them an opportunity to both get by the AlphaTauri. So a smart decision by the Ferrari drivers. I'm not sure if they are speaking to each other, but that does seem like a little bit of a hey, you know, I'll let you by. Let's try and catch this guy in front of us. Exactly. We have a swapping of positions. Oh, and we do have a spin from the Alfa Romeo of Sin. I just caught that. He's going to lose a decent amount of positions there. He was in front of Dutch, I believe. Oh, and Tafer is around again. He's facing backwards. This is his opportunity to try and get Pi. Yeah, don't get. He's got to move the car soon. He had the opportunity there. Nope. If he stays stationary too long. Yeah, and there it is. Parked in a dangerous location. He should have done it right after the Ferraris. Unfortunate for the AlphaTauri driver. Now Hines has made up a little bit of time, but it's yep. He's definitely reached that 25% threshold, and the Ferrari's on the back of Timgra. He is pressuring him, and both of these Ferraris are going to have DRS. Oh, as they both go wide. Oh, you don't want to battle here, guys. You had an opportunity to catch the AlphaTauris, but they... Oh... Yeah, a lot of lag. Matty gets by. That would have been... Yeah, this would have been a perfect opportunity for maybe both Ferraris to get by the AlphaTauri. One of them might... no. Oh, and the Ferraris are battling now. This is not what you want, guys. The AlphaTauri is a sitting duck for you guys right now, but you guys going side by side a little bit is costing you some time. Oh, and Matty has a really rough corner there. Oh, and a big slide from Matty and Noob, and Matty gets by again. Noob is on those much quicker tires. Is there rain? Oh my god, there is rain. Oh my god, this is going to be big now, because is the rain going to play a big enough part to where cars are starting to spin, or are they going to stay on the dries because there's only 2 laps left? Pray. Yep. Oh, and Maddie is around. I'm not sure if they collided. Kev King is having a lot of sliding moments. And Noob, a 3-second time penalty. Oh, dude, this rain looks really like it's picking up. That I think you need to throw on the inters. I know Kev King is not going to want to. DRS is disabled. Okay, that is a big sign for the drivers that they need to go onto the inters. Oh, Kev King is barely able to. I think, yeah. Kev King and Hines. Oh, and Kev King gets a 3-second time penalty. Oh, and he's sliding. And Hines is going for an overtake there. Oh my god, they're both sliding. Oh my god, everyone needs to put on inters now. This change of weather was so drastic. Oh yeah. And people are gonna be spinning too. Dude, look at. I think they have to. Yeah, they have to. Oh, yeah. Hines stays out. Oh, this is going to be big. Hines is going to gain around 15, 16 seconds. The pit stop at Coda is really short. I think Kev King has made the right decision here. He's going to go on inters. He has to get rid of that 3-second time penalty. Jimmy gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. Yeah, I'm not sure. Both Ferraris are in. That is going to hurt Reflex Maddie. The double stack is going to cost him a bit of time. And Maddie with a 5-second time penalty for speeding. Oh my god, there's so many penalties. I'm not even really going to be able to know like where everyone is. Let's look at the delta time between Kev King and Hines. 50. Look at the delta time go down. Kev King is making up seconds per corner. And Maddie gets a 5-second for crossing the pit lane exit. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be tricky. Hines cannot afford to get like any like slow moments here, because Kev King has to get by him, and Kev King has to get a 3-second gap. But Kev King is making up so much time. 8 seconds now. Oh, look how slow they have to go through the final corners. This is a tricky corner. If you're on dry tires through that corner, you cannot go anywhere near quick. But it does look like Hines made the right decision. He does stay a little bit ahead of Kev King. Hines is your winner. Kev King, unfortunate. I think Kev King would have stayed out if he didn't have that 3-second time penalty. I need to bring up time penalties here. I mean, Jimmy 13 seconds, Noob 9, Maddie 13, Spark 12, Deliberate 18. Yeah. Who ended up switching? Timgra and Noob switched. Maddie went to Wets. Dutch went to Inters, Dookie to Inters, Sin to Inters, and Camo to Inters. I mean, at this point, it's going to be... Oh, Maddie with another... Okay, never mind. That was just him not serving the penalty. Sparkplug's going to drop a lot. P9. Yeah, he stays P9. What a crazy end to this race, unfortunately for Kev King. If there was one more lap, this would have been his race. But yeah. But Hines stayed out on the wets or on the mediums when it was pouring rain. That is win for the Alpine driver. Gains some precious points on his championship rival. Reflex Matty driver of the day, I would say so. He did make up a lot of positions after a very unfortunate sprint. But big positions. Jimmy, P3, great podium for him. Had a lot of penalties at the end, but still came home for P3 in the podium. Very, very dramatic race at the end there. Whew. I mean, the race itself was exciting too, and then the game was like, here, have some rain. Not a little bit of rain, a lot of rain. As your final standings, Kev King did win the sprint, but he will lose 3 points on his championship rival Hines. Of course, we do have inflated points for our league, so that won't be exactly accurate. But Jimmy Pullup does get the most points in P3 behind those two, followed by Noob Plays and Timgra rounding out the top 5. Really unfortunate for Matty. He does get the 2 points at the end, but it should have been a lot more for the Ferrari driver. Yeah, if everything went perfectly. But those will be your superstitial results, as I'm sure there will be some incidents reported. I'm sure some people may get their penalties removed. But yeah, that was a crazy COTA race. Yeah. And there wasn't really any like car incidents in the race. It was kind of just everyone getting a bunch of time penalties. Yeah, of course, exactly. And yeah, that will be the end of our 5th round for Tier 2. A fantastic race from everyone involved. I'm sure there will be some position changes at the end. I'm sure people will have incidents reported, but your podium as it stands, Hines is your winner, followed by Kev King in the Alfa Romeo, and Jimmy Pullup, a great podium for him. That is your podium. I have been Gourd Sauce, thankfully joined by Jesper as well. Yeah, it's been a good day of racing, I'd say. And of course, thank you all for joining us. Hopefully we did a great job of keeping you guys entertained. The Tier 2 guys definitely kept us entertained, so. And that is COTA finally finished for PRL. Now next week, we will see you guys at Brazil. That's going to be a very fun track. I'm sure everyone enjoys Brazil in this game. So make sure to tune in next Sunday. Prem will be before Tier 1, and then Tier 2, 3 full races of Brazil. Going to be in a very exciting weekend. I have been Gourd Sauce, joined by Jesper, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in.